The ship came into the docking bay like a drunk trying to walk straight. Sparks flew from its hull and the engines made a sound that hurt Taman's ears. He put down his welding torch and watched the small vessel struggle to land. Black smoke poured from one side and the landing gear barely held. Taman wiped the grease from his hands and walked toward the ship. His repair shop sat at the edge of Outpost Gamma 7, a space station that nobody important ever visited. The station was old, crowded, and smelled like recycled air and desperation. But it was home and his shop was his pride. The ship's door opened with a hiss. A woman stumbled out, coughing from the smoke. She wore a worn mechanic's jumpsuit covered in oil stains. Her black hair was tied back in a messy ponytail. But it was her eyes that made Taman stare. They were violet like nothing he had seen before. They almost seemed to glow in the dim light of the bay. She looked at him with those strange eyes. Her face was young, maybe his age, but there was something old in the way she stood, something careful. "Is this a repair shop?" she asked. Her voice had an accent he could not place. "Honest repairs. Best in the sector," Taman said, then added honestly, "Only shop in this sector, really." She almost smiled. "My ship broke down. I need it fixed." Taman walked around the smoking vessel. It was small, built for speed, and covered in scorch marks. The design was strange, elegant in a way that human ships never were. "This is going to be expensive," he said. "I do not have money," she said quietly. Before Taman could answer, his friend Do-Yun came out of the shop. He was a big man with a practical mind and no patience for charity cases. "Then you came to the wrong place, lady. We have bills to pay." The woman looked down at her feet. "I can work. I know ships. I can help you with repairs while you fix mine." Do-Yun opened his mouth to refuse, but Taman spoke first. "Deal. You work, we fix your ship." "Taman, are you crazy?" Do-Yun pulled him aside. "We are barely keeping this place running. We cannot afford free work." "Look at her ship," Taman whispered. "That is not normal tech. If I can figure out how it works, we could learn something valuable." Do-Hyun sighed. "You and your curiosity, fine, but she works hard, understand?" The woman, who said her name was Hana, proved to be a good worker. She knew her way around a ship better than most mechanics Taman had met. She could spot a faulty connection just by listening to the engine hum. She understood power systems that Taman had only read about in technical manuals. On the third day, Taman opened up her ship's power core. What he saw made him forget to breathe. The technology inside was impossible. The core used quantum cascade systems that most species considered theoretical. The energy flow was controlled by crystals that should not exist. "How does this even work?" he asked. Hana looked uncomfortable. "It is advanced Velrathi technology." "Velrathi? I have heard of them. They are one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy." Taman studied the core. "How did you get your hands on this?" "I used to work for them," she said quickly, "before my colony was destroyed." Taman nodded, but he noticed she did not look at him when she spoke. She was hiding something. He decided not to push. Everyone at the station had secrets. Instead of being scared by the advanced technology, Taman felt excited. He started working on the ship with tools that looked ancient compared to Velrathi engineering. He used plasma welding techniques he learned from his father. He added redundant safety systems, the kind humans always used because their ships broke down so often. Hana watched him work with growing surprise. "You are repairing it with primitive tools." "Primitive works," Taman said, focused on a stubborn connection. "Your fancy quantum system is great until it breaks. Then you need something simple to get you home." He rigged up a backup power system using parts from 3 different species technology. It was ugly, held together with determination and fusion welds, but it would work. He made the ship more reliable by making it less perfect. "This is clever," Hana admitted, running her hand along the new systems. "Velrathi engineers would never think to do this." "That is because Velrathi engineers probably never had a ship break down in the middle of nowhere with no help coming," Taman said. Humans learned to make do. Over the next week, they fell into an easy rhythm. Hana helped with other repairs in the shop during the day. At night, Taman worked on her ship. They talked while they worked. She told him about distant stars and strange worlds. He told her about growing up on the station, learning mechanics from his father who died when Taman was 16. She was smart, funny when she relaxed, and had opinions about everything from engine design to the best way to make coffee. But sometimes she would use words that were too technical, too specific. Sometimes she moved with a grace that spoke of training, not labor. Sometimes she looked at the stars through the viewports with sadness too deep for a simple refugee. Do-hyun noticed too. That woman is not what she says, he told Taemin one evening. I know. And you do not care? Everyone runs from something, Taemin said. As long as she is not bringing trouble here, it is not my business. But trouble was already coming. Strange ships began arriving at the station. Sleek vessels with Velrothi markings. Their crews asked questions about newcomers, about anyone who seemed out of place. They showed a picture that was slightly blurred, but Taemin recognized the violet eyes. Hana became nervous. She looked over her shoulder constantly. She asked Taemin how much longer the repairs would take. 2 more days, he said. Maybe 3. Why? What is wrong? Nothing. I just need to leave soon. On the morning of the 10th day, Taemin finished the last repair. The ship was not just fixed. It was better than before. The systems hummed with quiet power. The backup systems he added would keep it running even if the main core failed. It is done, he told Hana. She was helping Do-hyun organize tools in the shop. Her face showed relief and sadness at the same time. Thank you. You did not have to help me, but you did. That is what we do here. Help people. Taemin wiped his hands on a rag. Where will you go? Far from here. Somewhere safe. Before he could ask more, alarms blared through the station. Emergency lights flashed. A voice on the intercom announced that the docking bay was being locked down by order of the Velrothi Empire. Hana's face went pale. No, not yet. I needed more time. Heavy boots rang on metal as soldiers in ornate armor rushed into the repair bay. They moved with military precision, weapons ready. At their head was a woman in even fancier armor, with a cape that seemed to flow like liquid metal. Princess Hana, the woman said, her voice formal and cold. Your family demands your return. Come willingly or we will take you by force, princess. The word hung in the air like a bomb. Taemin looked at Hana, the woman he had worked beside for 10 days, the refugee mechanic who knew too much and said too little, the princess who had been hiding in his shop. Hana stood straight and suddenly the grace he had noticed made sense. Commander Risa, I told you I will not go back. The choice is not yours, Your Highness. Do-hyun moved closer to Taemin. What did you get us into? He whispered. Taemin did not answer. He was too busy watching Hana face down the armed soldiers, her chin up, her violet eyes blazing with defiance. She looked like royalty now. She looked like someone worth fighting for. And Taemin realized he was in much bigger trouble than he thought. Commander Risa stood in the middle of the repair shop like she owned it. Her soldiers blocked every exit. Their weapons glowed with barely contained energy. Taemin had seen enough war footage to know those weapons could turn him into ash before he finished blinking. Your Highness, Risa said again. Please, your aunt is worried. The Empire needs you, Hana shook her head. Her hands were clenched into fists. The Empire wants to sell me like property. That is different from needing me. Taemin raised his hand slowly, trying not to look threatening. Can someone explain what is happening? Because 10 minutes ago I was fixing ships and now there are soldiers in my shop. Risa looked at him properly for the first time. Her eyes studied him like he was a puzzle. You are the mechanic who repaired her ship? Taemin. And yes, I fixed it. Then you helped a fugitive, Risa said. You interfered in imperial matters. I helped someone whose ship was broken, Taemin said. I did not know she was running from an empire. She said she was a refugee. I am a refugee, Hana said quietly. I am running from a life I never wanted. Do-hyun grabbed Taemin's arm. We should stay out of this. This is royal business, not ours, Risa nodded. Your friend is wise. This does not concern humans. Princess Hana must return to fulfill her duty to the Empire. She is promised to Prince Kyungho of the Kalith dynasty. Their marriage will unite 2 great houses. I do not love him, Hana said. I do not even like him. He treats people like tools, like things to be used. Love is not required for political marriage, Risa said, but her voice was softer now, sadder. I do not like this either, Hana, but it is your duty. Taemin looked between them. Wait, you are forcing her to marry someone she does not want to marry? It is how things are done, Risa said. That is slavery with fancy clothes. The soldiers shifted, hands moving to weapons. Risa held up a hand to stop them. You do not understand our ways, human. I understand that Hana does not want to go. That is all I need to understand. Do-hyun pulled harder on his arm. Taemin, stop. You cannot fight an empire. Risa's expression changed. She looked tired. I did not come here to fight despite what you think. I came to warn Hana. Prince Kyungho is coming. His fleet will be here in 2 days, and he will not be as patient as I am. Hana went very still. Kyungho is coming here? Himself? With 12 warships. He is angry, Hana. You embarrassed him by running. He will not let that go. Risa stepped closer. If you do not come with me now peacefully, he will take you by force. And he will destroy this station to make a point. The shop fell silent. Taemin could hear the hum of the station's life support systems. 50,000 people lived on Outpost Gamma 7. Families, children, people just trying to survive. Hana looked at Taemin. Her violet eyes were wet with tears. I am sorry. I should not have come here. I put you all in danger. It is not your fault, Taemin said. Yes, it is. She turned to Risa. I will go with you. But you must promise the station will not be harmed. No, Taemin said. Everyone looked at him. Do-hyun groaned. Taemin, please think about this. I am thinking, Taemin said. I am thinking that we just spent 10 days fixing Hana's ship so she could escape. I am thinking that I did not do all that work so she could give up now. There is no escape, Risa said. Kyungho will hunt her across the galaxy. Unless she reaches neutral territory, Taemin said. The Free Worlds Alliance does not recognize Velrathi marriage contracts. If she can reach their space, they will give her asylum. Hana shook her head. The nearest Alliance territory is 3 days away. Kyungho will be here in 2 days. The math does not work. It does if we buy you time, Taemin said. Do-hyun stared at him. Buy her time? How? With what army? With every human on this station who owes me a favor. With every ship we ever fixed, every pilot we helped, every trader who got their cargo delivered because we worked through the night. Taemin looked at Risa. Humans are not good at a lot of things, but we are very good at being stubborn. Risa studied him for a long moment. You would fight 12 warships with cargo haulers and mining vessels? We do not have to win. We just have to delay them long enough for Hana to escape. You will all die. Maybe. But maybe not. Humans are hard to predict. We do stupid things that work because nobody expects us to be that crazy. Taemin smiled. And I am very good at fixing broken things and making them work in ways they were never designed for. Hana grabbed his arm. Taemin, no. I cannot let you do this. You barely know me. I know you well enough, he said. I know you work hard. I know you are kind. I know you want to be free. That is enough. Risa made a decision. Taemin could see it in her eyes. I was ordered to bring the princess back. I was not ordered to stop humans from being foolish. She looked at her soldiers. We will leave now. We will pretend we did not find her here. Commander, one soldier protested. That is an order, Risa said firmly. She looked at Hana. I have protected you since you were a child. I will not stop now, but I cannot help you openly. Do you understand? Hana nodded, tears running down her face. Thank you, Risa. Risa turned to leave, then stopped. Mechanic, you have 48 hours. Make them count. She and her soldiers left as quickly as they had arrived. The shop was quiet again. Do-hyun sat down heavily on a tool chest. We are going to die. Probably not, Taemin said. But we need to start calling people. A lot of people. Why are you doing this? Hana asked. Why would you risk everything for me? Taemin thought about it. Because you asked for help and I said yes. I am not done with the job yet. Over the next 24 hours, Taemin called in every favor he had ever earned. He contacted Captain Minho, who ran mining operations in the asteroid belt. He talked to pilot Jiho, who flew cargo runs to the outer colonies. He messaged engineer Soman, who maintained the station's defense drones. One by one, they agreed to help. Some because they owed Taemin money, some because he had fixed their ships for free when they were desperate, some just because they hated bullies, and a prince with 12 warships sounded like the biggest bully in the galaxy. Do-hyun worked on strategy. He had been a military pilot before he left that life behind. He knew how warships moved, how they thought, what they expected. We cannot fight them straight on, he said. But we can confuse them, make them waste time. Hana upgraded her ship with everything Taemin could give her. More backup systems, more shielding, more speed. It looks like junk, she said. It looks like junk that will get you to safety, Taemin corrected. That is all that matters. On the morning of the second day, the station's sensors picked up 12 ships dropping out of hyperspace. They were huge, covered in weapons and flying in perfect formation. At their center was the largest vessel, painted in royal colors. A message came through on all channels. A man's voice, smooth and cold. "Outpost Gamma 7. I am Prince Kyungho of the Kalith dynasty. You are harboring my future bride. Surrender Princess Hana within 1 hour, or I will destroy your station. This is your only warning." The station administrator immediately tried to comply. He sent out messages looking for Hana, offering rewards for information. But before he could do much, Taman made his own broadcast. He stood in front of a camera in his dirty repair shop, looking exactly like what he was. A mechanic. Nothing special, nothing important, just a human who fixed things. "My name is Taman," he said. "I run a repair shop here on Outpost Gamma 7. A few weeks ago, a woman came to my shop with a broken ship. She had no money, so she worked to pay for the repairs. She was a good worker, honest, kind. Yesterday, I found out she is Princess Hana of the Velrathi Empire." He paused, looking directly at the camera. "I also found out she is running from a marriage she does not want. She is running from a man who treats people like property, and now that man is here with 12 warships threatening to kill 50,000 innocent people, unless we hand her over. So here is what we are going to do. We are going to give Princess Hana time to reach safety, and if Prince Kyungho wants to stop her, he is going to have to go through us first." Taman smiled. "Good luck with that." He cut the transmission and looked at Hana. "Ready?" She nodded, too emotional to speak. Outside, the ragtag fleet of human ships was forming up. Mining vessels, cargo haulers, personal transports, even a few pleasure yachts. None of them were warships. All of them were ready to fight. Taman climbed into his own ship, the Lucky Strike. It was old, scarred from a dozen emergencies, but it flew. That was all he needed. Do-hyun took the co-pilot seat. "This is the craziest thing you have ever done." "I know. We are probably going to die." "Probably." Do-hyun grinned despite himself. "At least it will be interesting." The hour was almost up. Prince Kyungho would be expecting surrender. Instead, he was going to get the one thing humans were best at. A fight that nobody in their right mind would pick. Taman opened the communication channel to all the human ships. "Remember, we are not trying to win. We are buying time. Stay unpredictable. Stay annoying. Make them work for every inch." 50 voices answered back, ready and willing. Taman took a deep breath and launched the Lucky Strike toward the incoming fleet. Behind him, Hana waited for her moment to escape. Ahead of him, 12 warships prepared to crush a few dozen civilian vessels. It was going to be a very bad day for Prince Kyungho. The first wave hit the Velrathi fleet like angry insects attacking a bear. 20 mining ships rushed forward, their industrial cutting lasers firing at full power. The lasers were meant to slice through asteroids, not military shields, but they were bright and chaotic. Prince Kyungho's voice came over the channel, full of disbelief. "You dare attack us with mining equipment?" Taman answered while dodging weapons fire. "We dare attack you with whatever we have. That is how humans work." The mining ships scattered before the warships could target them properly. They moved in wild patterns, no formation, no discipline. Each pilot flew their own way. To a military commander, it looked like chaos. To humans, it was just Tuesday. While the Velrathi fleet adjusted their targeting systems for the mining lasers, cargo haulers swept in from another direction. They dumped clouds of metallic chaff, thousands of tiny reflective particles that scrambled sensors and tracking systems. Captain Minho laughed over the communications channel. "Sorry about the mess. Our cargo locks are faulty. So clumsy of us." The Velrathi warships fired blindly into the chaff cloud. Energy bolts lit up space like fireworks but hit nothing. The cargo haulers were already gone, circling around for another pass. Do-hyun monitored the tactical display. "They are adapting. Switching to wide area scans. We have maybe 5 more minutes before they compensate." "Then we change tactics," Taman said. He opened the general channel. Phase 2. Kinetic weapons. The mining ships returned, but this time they were not using lasers. They launched pieces of scrap metal, chunks of asteroid, anything heavy they could accelerate to high speeds. The objects were too small and too many for the warships to shoot down all of them. Pieces of metal slammed into the Velrathi shields. The shields held, but they flickered with each impact. Energy that could have been used for weapons was now being wasted on stopping junk. Prince Kyung-ho sounded angry now. This is not warfare. This is throwing rocks. Rocks work, Taemin replied. Humans have been throwing rocks at problems for thousands of years. The prince deployed drone fighters, small automated ships that swarmed toward the human vessels. They were fast and deadly, designed to overwhelm enemies with numbers and precision. Pilot Jiho met them head-on. His cargo hauler was not built for combat, but he flew it like a fighter anyway. He used the larger ship's mass as a weapon, ramming through formations of drones and destroying them through sheer momentum. Other human pilots followed his example. They rammed, they dodged at the last second, causing drones to crash into each other. They flew through debris fields that no sane pilot would enter. They did things that military programming never anticipated, because military drones were programmed to fight other military ships. They expected patterns, tactics, logic. Humans offered none of that. Humans offered chaos. Taemin watched the tactical display with satisfaction. They were not winning. The Velrothi fleet was barely scratched. But they were being delayed, slowed down, forced to deal with problems they never expected to face. Hana, he said into his private channel, the way is clear. Go now. From a hidden docking port on the far side of the station, Hana's ship launched. It was small and fast, modified with all of Taemin's improvements. The backup systems hummed with power. The human-made shielding covered the Velrothi energy signature. She aimed for the asteroid field that surrounded the station. If she could reach it, the rocks would provide cover. If she could cross it, she would be close to the hyperspace jump point. But Prince Kyung-ho had been waiting for exactly this. 3 of his fastest interceptors broke away from the main fleet and gave chase. They were sleek, deadly, and built for one purpose: catching runners. Interceptors on Hana, Do-yeon warned. She cannot outrun them. Taemin did not hesitate. He threw the lucky strike into a hard turn that made the hull groan. All ships cover her escape route. Do not let those interceptors through. A dozen human ships changed course to intercept the interceptors. They formed a living wall between the hunters and their prey. They were slower, less armed, but they were many and they were determined. The interceptors tried to go around. The humans blocked them. The interceptors tried to go through. The humans rammed them, even knowing it would destroy their own ships. 3 human vessels were vaporized in seconds, but they bought precious time. Hana reached the asteroid field. Her ship dove between the floating rocks with desperate speed. The interceptors followed, but they were built for open space, for clean pursuit lines. The asteroids forced them to slow down. Taemin's voice came through her communicator. Remember what I told you. The asteroids are not obstacles. They are weapons. Hana took a deep breath and started flying like Taemin would fly. Reckless, creative, willing to take risks that made her heart pound. She led the interceptors through narrow gaps, around spinning rocks, past clouds of smaller debris. One interceptor tried to follow too closely and clipped an asteroid. It spun out of control and exploded against a larger rock. 2 left. Hana used her ship's superior knowledge of the field. The modifications Taemin made gave her better sensors, better response time. She could see threats the interceptors missed. She could dodge a second faster. She looped around a massive asteroid and came up behind one of her pursuers. For a moment, she was the hunter. Her ship's weapons, weak compared to military-grade, fired. The shots hit the interceptor's engines. It died in a flash of light. 1 interceptor left, and it was closing fast. This pilot was good, adapting to her tactics. Hana pushed her ship harder, but the interceptor was faster. It was going to catch her before she reached the hyperspace point. Then the lucky strike appeared from behind an asteroid, moving at a speed that should have torn it apart. Taemin had pushed his old ship past every safety limit. He positioned his ship between Hana and the interceptor. Keep going, he told her. Do not look back. Taemin, no. You cannot fight that thing. I do not need to fight it. I just need to slow it down. He smiled, though she could not see him. Go, be free. The interceptor fired at the lucky strike. Taemin dodged, but barely. His ship was tough, built for emergencies and disasters, but it was not a warship. Another hit would destroy it. Hana was almost at the jump point. Tears blurred her vision as she flew. Behind her, Taemin was buying her freedom with his life. Taemin played his final card. He lured the interceptor close, then flew straight at a massive asteroid. At the last possible second, he rolled the lucky strike sideways, scraping past the rock with inches to spare. The interceptor, moving too fast, could not turn in time. It slammed into the asteroid at full speed. The explosion lit up the asteroid field like a small sun, but the shockwave caught the lucky strike. Taemin felt his ship shudder, heard metal tear. Systems went red across his console. The engines died. Life support flickered. Do-Yun, still in the co-pilot seat, worked frantically on repairs. "We are losing pressure. Emergency systems are failing. Get to the escape pod," Taemin said. "Not without you." They stumbled to the small escape pod, barely big enough for 2 people. Taemin sealed it and launched. The lucky strike, his ship for 10 years, drifted away into the asteroid field. Empty. Dead. The escape pod had minimal systems, basic life support, a weak distress beacon, and very little power. They floated in space, surrounded by asteroids and debris. Through the small viewport, Taemin saw Hana's ship reach the jump point. It flashed and disappeared, jumping to hyperspace. She made it. She was free. Do-Hyun checked the pod systems. Life support will last 6 hours. Maybe 8 if we ration air. "The station will send rescue ships once the fleet leaves," Taemin said. "We just have to wait." But Prince Kyung-ho had other plans. His command ship moved through the asteroid field, hunting. Its sensors swept space, looking for survivors. The pod's computer beeped a warning. They had been found. A tractor beam locked onto the escape pod, pulling it toward the warship. Taemin and Do-Hyun could do nothing but watch as they were dragged into the enemy vessel's docking bay. Soldiers surrounded the pod the moment it landed. The hatch opened from the outside. Taemin and Do-Hyun were pulled out roughly and forced to their knees. Prince Kyung-ho walked down from his command deck. He was tall, handsome in a cold way, and dressed in elaborate robes that showed his rank. He looked at Taemin like someone would look at an annoying insect. "You are the mechanic," he said. It was not a question. "Taemin." "Nice to meet you," Taemin said. He knew it was stupid to be sarcastic to someone who could kill him with a word, but fear made him stupid sometimes. Kyung-ho smiled, but it was not a kind smile. "You cost me 3 interceptors, a dozen drones, and my bride escaped. I should kill you now, probably, but then you would not have anyone to blame for your embarrassment." Do-Hyun kicked him. "Stop talking," he hissed. Kyung-ho studied them both. "I could destroy your station as punishment. Show the galaxy what happens to those who interfere with royal business." "You could," Taemin agreed. "But Hana broadcast everything to every news network in this sector. The whole galaxy watched you threaten civilians because you got stood up. If you destroy the station now, you will look even worse." The prince's expression darkened. He had not known about the broadcast. He pulled out a communication device and checked. His face went from angry to furious. Taemin had recorded everything. His speech, the human defense, the pursuit. All of it was spreading across the galaxy's information networks. The story was already being told in thousands of languages on thousands of worlds. Kyung-ho looked at him with pure hatred. "You think you are clever, human. But Hana cannot run forever. I will find her, and when I do, I will make her watch while I destroy everything she cares about." He turned to his soldiers. "Take them to the holding cells. When we return to Velrathi space, they will stand trial for their crimes against the Empire." As they were dragged away, Taemin allowed himself a small smile. Hana was free, the station was safe, and he had made a prince look like a fool in front of the entire galaxy. It was worth it, even if he was probably going to spend the rest of his life in a Velrathi prison. The holding cell was small, cold, and very uncomfortable. Taemin sat on the metal bench and tried not to think about how much trouble he was in. Next to him, Do-Hyun leaned against the wall with his eyes closed. "Do you think they will actually put us on trial?" Do-Hyun asked. "Maybe. Or maybe Kyung-ho will just throw us out an airlock and tell everyone we died in the fighting." "That is comforting." "Thank you." Taemin managed a weak smile. "At least Hana got away. Yes, she is free and we are prisoners. Great trade." Before Taemin could answer, the cell door opened. A soldier gestured for them to follow. They were led through the warship's corridors, past crew members who stared at them with curiosity or contempt. They expected to be taken to another cell, or maybe an interrogation room. Instead, they were brought to the ship's bridge. Prince Kyung-ho stood at the main viewport, staring out at space. His posture was rigid with anger. On the main screen, a news broadcast played. A human reporter was interviewing people from Outpost Gamma 7. They told stories about Taemin, about his honest work, about how he helped everyone who needed it. They talked about Hana, the mysterious woman who worked. Alongside them, the reporter called it the most romantic story of defiance in modern history. She said humans across the galaxy were calling Taemin a hero. Kyung-ho turned off the broadcast. Do you see what you have done? You made this personal. You made it a story. Stories matter, Taemin said. People remember stories. They forget politics. I do not care about human stories. You should. Because right now the whole galaxy is watching. They are watching to see what you do next. If you kill us, you prove the story right. You prove you are a tyrant. Kyung-ho walked closer, his face inches from Taemin's. I could make you disappear. No trial, no witnesses. Just gone. You could. But I sent that broadcast to 60 different networks with instructions to release more footage if I disappear. Everything. Every conversation. Every action you take. Taemin met the prince's eyes. You cannot hide from this story. It is already out there. The prince looked like he wanted to kill Taemin with his bare hands, but he was trapped and they both knew it. The story was bigger than both of them now. An alarm sounded on the bridge. A junior officer called out, My prince, we have a situation. A ship just dropped out of hyperspace. It is sending out diplomatic codes. What ship? Kyung-ho demanded. The officer checked his console. It is Princess Hana's ship, my prince. Everyone on the bridge froze. Taemin felt his heart drop. She came back. She was supposed to be safe. Why did she come back? Hana's voice came through the communication system. Prince Kyung-ho, I offer you a bargain. Release the humans and I will return to Velrothi space with you. Harm them. And I will spend the rest of my life making sure everyone in the galaxy knows exactly what kind of man you are. Kyung-ho smiled cruelly. You are in no position to bargain, princess. I will simply take you and the humans. Try it. My ship is faster than yours now thanks to human engineering. You will waste days chasing me through this sector. Days that you will spend looking foolish in front of the galaxy. Her voice was calm, but Taemin could hear the steel underneath. Or you can take what I offer and leave with some dignity. Taemin grabbed the communication console before anyone could stop him. Hana, no. You were free. Why did you come back? You came back for me, she said simply. When I was running from the interceptor, you put yourself between me and death. Did you think I would do less for you? Soldiers pulled Taemin away from the console. Kyung-ho studied him with new interest. So, the mechanic and the princess. How touching. Accept my terms, Hana said. Or chase me for weeks while every news network in the galaxy watches you fail. The prince considered. Taemin could see the calculation in his eyes. Kyung-ho wanted revenge, wanted to punish everyone who had humiliated him, but he also wanted to end this situation before it damaged his reputation further. Very well, Kyung-ho said at last. I will release the humans. But you will come aboard my ship immediately, and you will marry me when we return to Velrothi space. No, Taemin said. Do-yun grabbed his arm, but Taemin pulled free. There has to be another way. Hana's voice was soft. There is no other way, Taemin. This is the best outcome we can hope for. There is always another way, Taemin said. He turned to Kyung-ho. I challenge you, the bridge went silent. Even Kyung-ho looked surprised. What did you say? I challenge you. For Hana's hand. It is an ancient law, right? If someone objects to a marriage, they can challenge for the right to marry instead. Commander Risa's voice came through a different channel. She was listening from her own ship, still in the sector. The human is correct. The law of challenge has not been used in 300 years, but it is still valid. If Prince Kyung-ho refuses, the marriage contract becomes void. Kyung-ho laughed. You want to fight me? A human mechanic against a trained warrior? Yes, you will die in seconds. Maybe. But if you refuse, everyone will know you were afraid to face a human in fair combat. Taemin was gambling everything on the prince's pride. Kyung-ho had been humiliated already. He could not afford to look like a coward on top of everything else. Taemin, you cannot do this, Hana said, her voice breaking. He will kill you. Probably, Taemin agreed. But I have to try. You taught me that. Sometimes you have to fight even when you cannot win. Kyung-ho studied him for a long moment. Then he smiled. Very well. I accept your challenge. We will fight in 12 hours, giving time for witnesses and judges to arrive. The Galactic Council will observe to ensure everything is legal. He turned to his soldiers. Take the human to quarters where he can prepare. Give him access to our training facilities and medical staff. When I kill him, I want everyone to know he had every advantage. As Taemin was led away, Do-hyun walked beside him. You know you are going to die, right? I know. And you are doing this anyway. I have to. Hana sacrificed her freedom to save me. The least I can do is fight for hers. In the quarters they were given, Taemin tried to prepare. Commander Risa arrived and offered to teach him basic Velrathi combat techniques, but she was honest about his chances. Kyung-ho has trained since childhood. He has killed in combat before. You have what, fixed ships? I have fixed a lot of ships, Taemin said. And I have been in a few bar fights. That will not be enough, then help me make it enough. Teach me what you can. Help me find his weaknesses. Risa sighed but agreed. For the next 12 hours she drilled Taemin in basics. How to hold an energy blade. How to move. How to defend. But there was only so much he could learn in half a day. Hana came to see him an hour before the fight. She looked beautiful and terrified. Please do not do this, I have to. Why? We barely know each other. You have done so much already. Taemin took her hands. Because you deserve to choose your own life. Because you are brave and kind and you fight for what is right. Because when I look at you, I see someone worth fighting for. He smiled. And maybe because I am a fool who fixes ships for free. She kissed him then. It was desperate and sweet and full of all the things they might never get to say. Win. She whispered. Please win. I will try. The arena was set up in the main hangar of the station. Thousands of people gathered to watch, in person and through broadcasts. The Galactic Council sent observers. News networks from 100 worlds covered the event. It was not every day that a human challenged a prince. Taemin stood in the arena wearing simple clothes. No armor, no protection. Just him and an energy blade that felt strange in his hand. Across from him, Prince Kyung-ho looked like a warrior from legends, confident and deadly. The judge, a neutral representative from the council, explained the rules. Fight until one yields or falls. No outside interference. The winner takes all rights to the marriage contract. Taemin looked up at where Hana sat with the other observers. She was crying but trying to hide it. He gave her a small wave. Then he turned to face the prince and prepared to fight the most important battle of his life. The judge raised his hand. Begin. Prince Kyung-ho moved first. He was fast, smooth, like water flowing downhill. His blade came at Taemin in a perfect arc designed to end the fight in seconds. Taemin barely got his own blade up in time. The impact rattled his bones. Kyung-ho pressed the attack, strike after strike, each one precise and controlled. Taemin defended desperately, using everything Risa taught him in those few hours. Block, dodge, move, survive. The crowd was silent, watching the mismatch. A trained warrior against a mechanic. Everyone knew how this would end. Kyung-ho's blade slipped past Taemin's guard and cut across his arm. Blood flowed. Pain exploded. Taemin stumbled back, his left arm hanging useless. Is this the best humanity can offer? Kyung-ho taunted, his voice carrying across the arena. A mechanic who cannot even hold a blade properly? Taemin gritted his teeth against the pain. He switched his blade to his right hand, the movements awkward. I am still standing. Not for long, the fight continued. Kyung-ho toyed with him now, making the human's inferiority obvious to everyone watching. He left openings that Taemin could not exploit. He delivered cuts that hurt but did not kill. He was making a show of it. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Taemin was bleeding from a dozen cuts. His breath came in gasps. His vision blurred, but he stayed on his feet. In the stands, Do-hyun watched with clenched fists. Come on, Taemin. Do not give up. Hana could barely watch. Every time Kyung-ho's blade connected, she flinched. She wanted to stop this. Wanted to surrender herself if it would save Taemin. But she knew he would never forgive her if she did. 20 minutes into the fight, something changed. Kyung-ho was still landing hits, still dominating. But Taemin was learning. He started to see patterns in the prince's attacks. Kyung-ho fought by the book, using techniques taught in royal academies. Perfect form. Perfect execution. Too perfect. Taemin remembered what Risa said during training. Kyung-ho has never truly struggled. He wins because he is skilled, not because he is tough. He has never had to fight through pain, never had to adapt when everything goes wrong. But Taemin knew about fighting through pain. He spent his whole life doing things that were hard, fixing problems that seemed impossible, finding ways to keep going when everything was broken. He stopped trying to fight like a Velrathi warrior. Instead, he fought like a human, messy, unpredictable. He blocked when he should dodge. He attacked when he should defend. He did things wrong on purpose because wrong was harder to predict. Kyung-ho noticed the change and adjusted his tactics. But adjusting took time, seconds. And in those seconds, Taemin landed his first real hit. It was not clean, not elegant, but his blade scored across the prince's shoulder. Kyung-ho looked shocked, then angry. "You dare mark me?" Taemin spat blood. "I dare a lot of things. You should know that by now." The prince's attacks became more aggressive, less controlled. He was angry now, fighting with emotion instead of precision. Taemin used that. He baited the prince, made him waste energy, frustrated him with survival. 30 minutes, 40. The crowd was no longer silent. People were shouting, cheering for the human who refused to fall. Even some Velrathi in the audience found themselves impressed despite their loyalties. Kyung-ho was breathing hard now. He had expected this to be over in minutes. Instead, he was being embarrassed in front of the galaxy, again, by the same human. His pride could not take it. He made a mistake born of rage and frustration. He overcommitted on a killing strike, putting all his strength behind it. The blade came at Taemin's throat with deadly speed. Taemin did not dodge. Instead, he did something insane. He stepped into the strike, taking the blade through his shoulder instead of his neck. The pain was incredible, but it gave him exactly what he needed. The prince was locked in close, unable to pull back. With his good arm, Taemin grabbed Kyung-ho and delivered a headbutt that would make any bar fighter proud. The prince stumbled, dazed. Taemin used the moment to pull himself free from the blade and grab it before Kyung-ho could recover. The prince's weapon clattered to the arena floor. Taemin, bleeding heavily, somehow still standing, pointed his own blade at Kyung-ho's throat. "Yield," Taemin said. His voice was weak but clear. The arena was silent. No one could believe what they were seeing. A human mechanic had disarmed a Velrathi prince. Kyung-ho's face showed pure hatred. For a long moment, no one breathed. Then the prince tried one last desperate move. He lunged for a hidden knife at his belt. Taemin was faster. Despite his injuries, despite the blood loss, he moved. His blade came down in a strike that was not meant to kill but to stop. He hit the prince's hand, forcing him to drop the knife, then swept his leg out from under him. Prince Kyung-ho crashed to the ground. Taemin stood over him, blade ready. "I said yield," the judge stepped forward. "The prince has fallen. By the laws of challenge, the human Taemin is declared the victor." The crowd erupted. Half were cheering, half were shouting in protest. It did not matter. The law was clear. Taemin had won. Taemin dropped his blade and collapsed. Medical teams rushed in from both sides. Hana was fastest, running across the arena floor and dropping to her knees beside him. "You idiot," she said, crying and laughing at the same time. "You wonderful, stupid, brave idiot. Did I win?" Taemin asked. He could barely focus. "Yes, you won." "Good. Because I do not think I can do that again." He passed out. The last thing he saw was Hana's face above him, violet eyes full of tears and joy. Taemin woke up 3 days later in a medical facility. His body ached everywhere. He was covered in bandages and connected to machines that beeped softly. For a moment he wondered if he had died and this was some strange afterlife. Then Hana appeared beside the bed. She was wearing elegant robes, her hair styled in an elaborate way that showed her royal status, but her eyes were the same, warm and violet and looking at him like he was the most important person in the galaxy. "You are awake," she said. "I feel terrible." "You should. You took 17 separate blade strikes. The doctor said you should have died 5 times over." "I am stubborn," she laughed through tears. "Yes, very stubborn. And very brave. And very foolish. What happened?" "After I passed out?" Hana sat on the edge of his bed. "Everything changed. The galaxy watched you fight. They watched a human mechanic defeat a prince through courage and determination. News networks called it the greatest underdog story in modern history. And Kyung-ho, disgraced. His family pulled their support for the marriage alliance. My aunt, the Empress Dowager, used the situation to push through reforms. The old marriage laws are being changed. No more forced unions. No more treating people as political tools, and so you are free?" Hana smiled. "I am free, thanks to you." Taemin tried to sit up, but the pain stopped him. "What will you do now?" "That depends. My aunt offered me a position. Royal mechanic to the Empire. The job comes with a ship, a crew, diplomatic status, and the authority to teach Velrathi engineers how to think differently." "That sounds perfect for you." "It does, but there is a problem. What problem? Hana took his hand gently, careful of the bandages. I need someone who knows how to fix impossible problems. Someone who is not afraid to use primitive tools to solve advanced challenges. Someone stubborn enough to stand up to an entire empire. She looked into his eyes. Know anyone like that? Taman stared at her. You want me to come with you? I want you to help me change the empire. Show them that human creativity and adaptability are not weaknesses. Teach them that sometimes the best solution is not the most elegant one, but the one that works. Before Taman could answer, Do-hyun walked in. Before you ask, yes, I am coming too. Someone needs to keep you two out of trouble. Plus, I am not passing up the chance to work on actual Velrothi technology. Taman laughed, which hurt, but he did not care. What about the shop? Captain Minho is buying it. He always wanted to settle down. Says he owes you for helping with the whole Warfleet thing. Hana squeezed Taman's hand. So, will you come? Help me teach the Empire that advance does not always mean better? Taman thought about his small shop on the edge of nowhere. He thought about his quiet life fixing ships for people who could not afford to pay. It had been a good life, simple and honest. But when he looked at Hana, he saw something better. A chance to make a real difference. A chance to prove that human ingenuity and stubbornness could change even the oldest, most powerful civilizations, and maybe, just maybe, a chance at something more personal too. I have one condition, he said. What is it? Dinner, you and me. After I can actually walk again? Hana smiled, and it was like the sun coming out. Just dinner? For a start. I am new to this whole royal protocol thing. Figured I should take it slow. She leaned down and kissed him gently. Deal. 3 months later, Taman stood in the royal shipyards on the Velrothi homeworld. The shipyards were massive, filled with vessels that represented centuries of advanced technology. Around him, Velrothi engineers watched with curiosity and skepticism as the human taught them about redundant systems and creative problem-solving. He was covered in grease despite his fancy new title. Some things never changed. Hana found him there working on a new ship design that combined Velrothi elegance with human practicality. You know you have people who can do the hands-on work now, right? Where is the fun in that? Besides, I am teaching by example. You cannot understand how something works unless you are willing to get your hands dirty. She moved closer, lowering her voice. There is something I need to tell you. Remember that ancient Velrothi law about saving a royal's life in combat? The one where I can ask for any boon within the crown's power? Yes, have you thought about what you want? Taman wiped his hands on a rag. I have thought about it, and? He took her hand. I want you to be happy. That is my boon. I want you to choose your own life, make your own decisions, and never let anyone force you into anything you do not want. Hana laughed. That is a terrible use of an ancient royal boon. Maybe, but it is what I want. What if I choose you? She asked softly. What if my choice, my decision that I make freely, is to spend my life with the stubborn human who fixed my ship for free? Taman smiled. Then I would say I got a much better deal than I expected. They stood together in the shipyard, surrounded by the best technology the galaxy had to offer. But the most important thing was not the ships or the power or the politics. It was two people who found each other across the stars and chose to face the future together. News feeds across the galaxy reported on the partnership between the human mechanic and the Velrothi princess. Some called it a love story. Others called it a political alliance. The historians called it the beginning of a new era of cooperation between humans and the Velrothi Empire. But Taman did not care about any of that. He just knew that he had fixed the most important thing he would ever fix. Not a ship, not an empire, but a chance at happiness for someone who deserved it. And if there was one thing humans were good at, it was taking broken things and making them work again. Even impossible things. Especially impossible things.